doing it wrong. So I'll just like to hand over now, move on to Dr. Abimbola, and let's hear what she has for us. Over to you, Dr. Abimbola. Thank you for the honor. Thank you for being
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. So I hope someone...
Good afternoon.
Can you hear me? Good afternoon.
Yeah, we can.
Fabulous. So it's nice and clear. Is it?
Yes.
All right. Because, you know, with technology, you must keep checking that, you know, you're actually communicating. So, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Robin Minds. Fantastic initiative. I'll give everyone a round of applause for that. I mean, I am into collaboration. I think I call it network intelligence, right? So it's how your own individual intelligence, you are sort of raising it by the power of 1,000 when you are part of a great network. So well done to everybody part of Robin Minds. Then of course the participants that are here, about 80 plus participants, well done as well, because one thing that we must do during the time of change is to learn, right? Because when something new happens to us, it means that it needs more of us. It needs an increased capacity, right? So we need to sort of, you know, enlarge our capacity. So no better way to do that than to learn, to keep learning, to listen to other people's perspectives. I think that's what we're doing today. So to listen to other people's perspectives and then to go back to your own drawing board, like a lot of our speakers have said, and then begin to sort of plug and play. So today I will just share what my own thoughts are, right? I have never taught online. The Kids Code School in Lagos is a building. So I'm like the rest of us, we are all sort of in this together and growing together, as it were, right? So, but I will just share my own thoughts, right, with regards to thriving online. What do I think? I mean, and what I've in the last 2 months, what exactly have I learned? And then we have also been online for about 3 weeks now. What has our experience been, right? So I don't know. Can you still hear me? Can you all still hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, fantastic. So now, thriving online,
yes,
the first thing, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. So the very first thing is that we are schools, right? So this is, our sector is school. Now, for any organization, including schools, we always speak about organizational building blocks. And I'm going to deliver this based on organizational building blocks. So whatever organization that we are, there must be some organizational building blocks that must align, right? And it is when they align that we start thinking of success, we start thinking of progress, we start thinking of, you know, surviving and thriving, right? So taking me back to the topic, thriving online. Now, the first one is leadership. Then we have culture. Then we have critical tasks and interdependencies. Then we have structure and systems, and then we have capabilities, skills, capacities, and attitudes. Now, unfortunately, I do not have, what's this thing called? Slides. Because at times, I feel like when you have those slides, you are trying to speak to your slide instead of speaking to, you know, some of those. So that's just me personally. So hardly would you find me teaching with a slide. So please bear with me. So again, I spoke about the 5 organizational building blocks. So number 1 is leadership. Number 2 is culture. Number 3 is critical tasks and interdependencies. Number 4, structure and systems. And number 5, capabilities, skills, capacities, and attitudes of everybody working in the organization. And these are the things that we must put in mind when we are, you know, even as a school. So offline school, physical school, online school, any place that we are operating as an organization, these are the 5 things we must think about. And we must think about them in how well they align in terms of alignment. Now, let me go right ahead. So now this has happened. I'm not going to rehash the whole story of COVID-19 and all that. All that, we all know it. We don't need to talk about them again. So this is where we are now. The last speaker rightly said that is either you align with what is happening or you get extinct. It's either you grow or you go into extinction. So I'm sure many of us are looking at our schools as transformational, transgenerational schools. So I know nobody here is planning, for their school to go into extinction. I'm sure. So what does it mean? The next thing is that we align. Now, someone else has rightfully said that the truth is, when we go back to school, when this whole thing is over, we're going to go back to school. And I don't want anybody to make us think otherwise. At least for now, we're going to go back to school. We're going to go back into the brick and the mortar. However, when we get there, things will change. Things have changed, right? And it is now necessary for us to begin to figure out, how do we thrive in that changing world? How do we thrive in the changing world, right? So at best, we'll have some level of, oh, wow, you guys are so fantastic. Wow, this is really fast. Well done. Okay, now I feel very bad that I don't have a slide. But I just think that if we follow the gist, you will get it, right? So how do we change? Number one is leadership. Leadership. You as the leader of a learning community, so a school, a university, blah, 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 you as the leader of a learning community, the first question you're going to ask yourself is, what's the vision of your school? Because you see, the vision of your school remains. And everything that you are going to do must align with the vision of the school. What is the vision that you have or your organization has created for your school? And everything that we're going to do must align with the vision. So someone that has decided that, my vision is that, for whatever reason, the best international school in this side of Africa, and now they are asking you to go online, you are saying no. So that means your vision is a lie, right? Because now the context of operation has changed. So if you are going to continue to be the best school on this side of the Niger, then how is it possible that you are not thinking that you should change, you should evolve and adopt and adapt to technology, right? So the vision is number one. Number two, part of leadership is assessment. So you must assess. So this online world, number one, what can I do? How great are you as a leader of an online school, an online learning community? The good thing about it is that I think I have about 20 minutes, so I can be as thorough as I want to be. How great are you as a leader of an online community? So that those days of, oh my goodness, I don't necessarily, so maybe you've been a teacher for 28 years, right? A great teacher for 28 years, and all, before now you have said to yourself, I don't really need all this technology. What does it mean? The child I taught in 1920, the child, is now the commissioner for education. How, that has changed. That has changed. We are now, we've been pushed by the pandemic into the middle of the technology era. So, if we were trying to take baby steps before, now we have been thrown, when they have a catapult, and they throw that catapult in, we are now in the middle of the 21st century and technology age. So if you as a leader, you are not aligning, then of course, there's no way your school is going to thrive, right? Now, the next thing you ask yourself, of course, as a leader is, what's your leadership style now? Because now it is a period of change. There are some leadership styles that are important in the period of change. Number one is instructional leadership, right? So at times when you are changing, it's not just do as I say. You must be do as I do now. So you can't just say, go and do it, go and do it. In the period of change, instructional leadership is important, right? And of course, we talk about things like transformation. I try not to talk about transformation, but I'm more of instructional leadership and distributive leadership. Before, if you thought that, oh, I'm the only one that can do it, that one-man business. You've been doing one-man business for 500 years. That your one-man business is not going to work now. Guess what? Nobody is in your control. Everybody is at home. Everybody is at home. How are you going to be able to, maybe what you used to do was you go around the classes, let them know that I'm here, let them know that I'm in the school. Now, are you going to go? Are you going to go into their homes so that they know that you are there? You need to be careful. So your leadership style also must Show that we are now in the online environment. You must be supportive. You must be motivating. You must be inspiring. You must check up on people. You must ask for people's opinion. So that one-man business that you were doing is not going to work. You see, it's when we are far away from it. You see, let me tell you, the presence of a person is easy for your presence to have an effect when people can see you. So that you're proud. So maybe when you bath up, when you dress up in the morning and doing booze along your corridor, hey, everybody's shaking, oh, it's not going to happen now. It's not going to work. They're not there. You might be doing a Zoom meeting with your staff and some of them are lying down. How do you ensure that your team is still working? Is still working while you are. So your leadership style, you need to assess your leadership style and you must align. You must align, right? So that's one. The next thing is, what can we do? So as a school, what can we do as a school? Before now, many people, of course, to be honest, in the last 5 odd years, this whole technology in education has been there. You've seen some experts coming up, hey. Then you and your school say, no, it's not important. This does not work. For what nonsense is expensive? You've given all that excuse, and guess what? Now your teachers cannot do anything. They can't even take a video. They don't even have to forget video. PowerPoint is. So you need to assess, what can your people do? Now the next is, what can your parents do? Because this is context now. So you want to deliver a product to your customers, as it were. What can your parents do? What level are they? What level are your parents, right? So obviously, you're not going to do one serious Google Classroom with the international big. When your parents, even WhatsApp is a problem for them, right? So however you want to deploy, however you want to exist online is also dependent on your context. And your context includes you, includes your teachers, includes your parents, right? And that is very, very important. And then, of course, what can your students do? So you have many schools. So I'll give an example. Like my school, a child that is 5, a child that is in primary 5, primary 4 is already coding. When we started our primary school in 2013, for some reason, and I think maybe that's what Mrs. John was saying, for some reason, I just always thought that even in that our little chocolate tiny space, technology was very important. So I think we started with about maybe 6 computers. We went to 12 computers. You know, it was strange, but it was just important from the beginning. So you have my children very, very savvy. So you have a child in primary 3 going, doing PowerPoint effortlessly. And then about 2 years ago, we started Edmodo. So a child that has been in Kids Core School for about 2 years can access it. So the same thing, what can your students do? Is it now that you have not taught your children anything about technology, you now want to, in the next 1 minute, hey, quickly, go on to Google? You need to be careful. So you need, as a leader and your leadership, because I hope that many of us are running the distributive leadership style where it's not just only one-man business. You guys sit down and say, okay, let's do this assessment and let us know what it is that we can do going forward. With all that, at the end, what you get with that information is choosing your learning management system, right? So what I said to my teachers is, school has now gone online. So where is our school? Where is the address of our school online? That's what an LMA is. What is the address of our school online, right? And then you decide on your learning management system. So I'm sure many of you have done that now. But the reason why I thought to review this is that many of us that are coming back with feedback of, oh, my parents are not doing, my parents are not, it's possible that you are trying to operate at a level that is slightly higher than your parents are used to or that they can do. So it's not even used to. Some areas, parents are not even, half of them might not even be educated. Half of them might not even be, particularly educated for you to now start saying, oh, click this, press this. It's www. Hey, okay, say, God, this is not for us. So you have to go back and think about that. I'll go straight on to the next one. So the next one is culture. right? So remember, I'm talking about the organizational building blocks. We talked about leadership. We're talking about culture. Now, again, what worked for us when we were in the school, right, is probably not going to work now, right? So culture is based on values, is based on the accepted behaviors, the artifacts that that are allowed in your school, that form the sort of the energy in your school, as it were, the culture of your school. So they are based on values. They are based on values. So right now, values that you need to think about, if you didn't have them already: communication. This is not the time to be edgy. This is not the time to say, oh my goodness, we'll just talk to our teachers once a month, or we'll just talk to the parents once a term because their trouble is too much. This is not the time for that. This is not the time for that. This is, you know, what is happening now is change management. So during the period of change, communication is the most important. So I'll tell you that in my school, every morning for the past 3 weeks, everybody that is part of the online system comes up on board at about 7 a.m. and we pray and we talk and we discuss for about 15 minutes and then we go. So you can't say that you have been left behind. Another thing that, of course, we have that WhatsApp group. What's happening on the WhatsApp group is that, you know, every day we are talking, we are sharing, oh, I like this, I like... Communication is important. Teacher to teacher is important. Again, communication with parents. This is not the time, like I said, to say, oh my God, I won't talk to them. My goodness, they are very, very bad. Oh my God, this is not the time. So do you want to do Zoom meetings? Like I said, context. Whatever it is that you decide to do is based on context. So context again. You know, should we do WhatsApp meeting? Should we do Zoom meeting? Do we do Google Meet, Hangouts? You know, all those things, Microsoft Teams, all of the, you know, based on your context, you should be meeting with your parents. Another thing is that you must have open, you know, channels of communication. So I'm not going to wait till that Zoom meeting before we have a conversation. I am going to, if I have a problem quickly, I need to call a teacher or call a help desk and say, hey, people, oh, help me, oh, you know. So you have to put those things in line. You will need to make it easy for the parents as well to do this transition into this online space, right? Of course, you have to communicate with your students. So do you have general meetings with your students? Well, okay, you know what? Everybody in Key Stage 2, Year 3 and Year 4, gather together. Everybody in Key Stage 2, Year 5 and 6, gather together. Oh, let me speak to you from my heart. I miss you. We love you. Be resilient. Are you communicating with your students? Right? So number one value now that we need more than ever before is communication. Consistent communication. Consistent two-way communication. Right? Clear. You can send emails. Some schools, like our school, every Monday morning we send a newsletter as well. What are we working with? Number two value: collaboration and teamwork. Everybody has spoken about it. Yes, so someone says effective communication. Exactly. So as I said, it must be clear, it must be two-way. You know, we all know what two-way. I mean, I have only 20 minutes, so we all know what all these things are about, right? So collaboration and teamwork. Teacher to teacher. This is not the time for one teacher to think that they can be a hero by themselves. If you know how to use it, you will share it, Neo. You must share it. If you know how to use it, you must share it. So at this point as well, like I said, there's that WhatsApp group where everybody's doing back and forth. Then, okay, somebody ask a question, everybody answer. Somebody seems to be bam with video. Come and teach all of us video. Somebody seems to be great with Zoom. Come and teach all of us Zoom. This is the time. You don't need a superhero now. You do not need a superhero now. You need everybody to be working effectively. Everybody must be working effectively. And it's not, you don't need one great person. I say, oh my God, I'm so great. Oh my God, I'm the star teacher. Star teacher of where? And as somebody said now, you know, I think the first speaker, our buildings, the fancy swimming pool, the fancy doors are not speaking for us again. What is speaking for us now are our teachers. So if you did not understand the value of teacher before, you begin to understand the value of teacher now. The teacher, the quality of teachers that you have now, very important. Another thing again with collaboration is homeschool partnerships. This is the time to connect with your parents. Like I said, somebody asked, how do you bring the parents on board? You train them. You train them. My people, this, you cannot wait for the COVID to be over before we continue to learn. We cannot wait for COVID to be over before we continue to learn. So, you know, you tell them why. There's a lot of people, we've never even told our parents why. And don't tell them why in this, oh my goodness, type. You use example. So for example now, this multiplication that we have been doing, imagine if the children don't practice it. You know, and then of course you tell them the style that you use in your school. Oh my goodness, I wish I had more time for this, because now I'm thinking that I'm beginning to talk too much. So so the style that you have, that you know, that you used to teach multiplication in your school, you sell them to that, you sell that to them. So they can't get that style anywhere. They can't get that style on Khan Academy, right? What makes your school, right, with regards to teaching and learning and the social construct within your school. This is the time for you to remind your parents about that. That guess what? Our school is fantastic. Our approaches to learning, fantastic, right? So you sell that to them. So you train them, you empower them, you listen to them. Like I said, open channels of communication. This is not the time to block yourself and block them and say, oh my God, no, they are wicked. It's not about that. It's not about that kind of life. You train them. You can train your parents in on Edmodo. So if you are doing Edmodo, gather them of them on Zoom and say, we are trying to do teacher, parent Edmodo. So dear parents, so when you see, you press like this, you press like this, you click like this, you click, and you say, hey, or Google Classroom, or Microsoft, whatever it is that you are using. Have you taught your parents? Have you taught your parents? Then of course, listening to them, supporting them, right? And of course, getting feedback from your parents. So what we do in our school is every Friday, we send a formal Google form for feedback. How was it this week? What class is your child in? What did your child learn? Do you think your child is learning? What else can we do to be better? Oh my God. They are your customers. And you are creating a product for them and their family. If your product becomes stressful, they will leave. If your product becomes something they cannot understand, they will leave. And they are not necessarily leaving to, you see, let me tell you now, we are fighting against, oh, let me stop talking. We are fighting against many things. Number one, we are fighting against the fact that I don't want to even do online learning from beginning to the end. Number two, we are fighting against all the free online platforms. Khan Academy, one thing, another thing. Number three, we are fighting against lesson teachers, right? Teachers who, you know, can deliver a fantastic job online and they can be flexible. Do you have time only on Saturday and Sunday? I will do it. I will be there for you and your child. Then you are there making things very difficult, making it very harsh, right? You have to be careful. Number three is creativity and innovation. Of course, that goes without saying. This is the time where everybody should show their color, right? Show your color in your, and creativity is a mindset. Innovation is a mindset. This is the time for you to show your color, right? In terms of bringing things out, you know, approaches to learning. This is the time. Now, number four is, and we're still talking about culture and values, community, right? Don't forget that the children also want to see each other. So when you're on Zoom and you're so strict, just listen, I want to just teach you, and you go, the children need that Google Zoom parties. Just say, guys, come on at 12 o'clock and we're just going to have fun. The children will like that as well. They are, you know, you need to find a way to motivate them. You need to find a way to keep them engaged. And then develop skills such as self-directed learning, resilience. And of course, within your community, very important is online safety. A lot of people have talked about that. Online safety. So what we do in our school is every Sunday, we post a video or something about online, age appropriate, about keeping yourself safe online. Every Sunday, that is how we start our week. Because you don't want, because of your online safety, learning or whatever, your child will not get lost online. Of course, there are so many schools that have their own VLEs that are protected. Kudos to them. But if you don't have that, then obviously, then you know you have to do that. Another thing to think about is consistency, starting, stopping, consistent quality, right? So many of us will start, hey, then we fall down. Consistency is very important. Consistency of quality, consistency of your approach, consistency is very, very important, right? And continuous improvement. So these are the values you should bring into place now. Communication, collaboration, creativity and innovation, community, right? And connectedness, consistency, continuous improvement, high expectations, positivity, and of course, there's that positive, especially with your staff. Hey, you guys, well done. How are you? Everybody's going through all sorts of things. We need to be very, very careful and recognize good work. So that recognition as well, if it's a value that you hold there, somebody is doing good work, well done. Oh my goodness, well done, fantastic, very important. I'm moving to number 3 and I'm going to be quicker. Critical tasks and interdependencies. So this is where the curriculum comes in. Now, please understand that it's not everything that can be taught online. It is not everything, and that's why, I'm assuming that that's why a lot of that's why the government is saying, you know what, maybe we should not call it online. Because imagine here you want to do some kind of science experiments, you want to titrate, you want to dissect, you know, are you going, maybe we're going to dissect a frog, are you then going to say, okay, you know, I'm just saying, you know, speaking my point, you know, my own thoughts, don't quote me please. But I feel that it's not everything that can be done online effectively for now. It's possible that as we are getting bigger and, you know, apps are coming up, some more things will be done online for now. So what can be done online? What can't be done online? So you need to review your scheme as well. You need to review your scheme and your curriculum to say, okay, how can we get, it's like, how do we get the most bulk for the time spent online? You don't want to teach something that the children would do after 5 lessons. They are still looking at you and saying, nah, I didn't get it. No, we didn't get that. That doesn't work, right? You have to make the most of the time that we have. And of course, the question is, how do we continue to remain robust? I think it's a fantastic time to bring up a lot of our future-ready skills like communication, collaboration, critical thinking, creativity, you know, resilience, and many of those things. I think this is a good time to bring a couple of those things, right? Yeah, recorded instructional videos could handle, but you know, now that's another problem with instruction. When we're doing instruction, should it not then be that instruction would then still be what we're used to, which is dashing the children information? Right now, it's co-constructivism, where the children should be part of the process. So you are watching a dissection of a frog. What has that got to do? How has that helped you? The only time, I'm speaking from my medical background, the only time you will learn how to dissect is when you hold those two things by yourself and you are looking at it by yourself. How do we achieve that online? But like I said, I'm just putting my thoughts out there. Now, of course, with critical task and independencies, we talked about curriculum, we talked about enriching the curriculum, making sure we're not wasting time on certain things that cannot be really achieved, leveraging on a lot of things that can be achieved, like I said, the forces and all that. Now, instruction now. So there's curriculum and there's instruction. So what are we going to teach? What are we teaching online, right? What are the topics? What are the objectives? And how are we going to teach it? So that's where we're going to talk about content. How are we going to teach it? Are we going to use videos? Are we going to use PowerPoint? Are we going to use augmented PowerPoint? How are you going to teach it? Are you going to use games? How are you going to teach it? And I think that is also very fundamental. Teachers, you need to take the position of the student. The position of the student, and then think, I'm a 7-year-old child in my house, and I'm asked to do this. What does it feel like? Right? So many of us are just, hey, content, video, hey, click, 5 games, 6 games, 78 games, do it. We're just throwing those content online. Are we thinking, does this even make sense from a child's perspective? Does it make sense? From a child in a remote teaching atmosphere, for lack of a better word. So this child that doesn't have anybody to say, go, continue, you know all these things we do, all the support we give. You have to think about that. Because what I've seen is that people are just throwing things. 5 quizzes in one lesson. 5 quizzes. PowerPoint of 28 28 slides PowerPoint, then a 50-minute video. I don't understand. Is the child, well, I'm talking about primary school. Is the child in university? Even university, I've done many of my courses online. They don't do that. Many of the Harvard courses, the one I took online, the videos are 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, right? So we need to be careful what is the content. But you know, we have to deliver the content, we have to assess that learning is taking place, and we have to get feedback. Do you get feedback from your children by saying, how was your week? How did the week go? Are you sending Google Forms to your children and asking them to give you their own perspective? That we did these topics. I will rate your understanding, rate your learning. Which areas do you think we need to do again? Which area do you think that I need to review? How do you think that this learning can be better for you? Because we do those things in the classroom. Those things happen naturally. A child just says, I don't understand. I don't understand. The child in class, you don't even ask for feedback, they give you feedback. But now, you don't even want to know what the child thinks. You just want to throw that content online, throw it online, in whatever platform, and then just say, thank God, I'm a great teacher. You are not yet a great teacher. If you are not getting feedback from your children, they are not really a great teacher yet, right? And then, of course, you reflect on the feedback, and then you use the feedback, right? So now there's that dichotomy between synchronous and asynchronous. Always think context, always think flexibility, always think screen time. You have the children just staring at the screen. Then many of them are not there because their parents cannot afford generator to run generator all day. They don't have inverter in their house. Data is something that they are mising slowly but surely, because this data must last them 1 month. Then you are saying automatic, Zoom. You wake up in the morning 8:30, get on Zoom. Then you're on Zoom for 1 hour lesson. Then 10 minutes break, get on Zoom again, right? It might work in some context. It might not work in others. Are you acknowledging the realities of your students and your parents as the great person that is typing is writing, right? Then, of course, differentiation comes in again. If you're in the classroom, would you not differentiate? How are you differentiating online? Because at times, when the thing is too hard for the child will just say, Mommy, I don't understand. Then the mommy will come there and be trying to explain. No, the mother will say, excuse me, am I a teacher? Am I being paid for this? In fact, I'm not going to pay these people's school fees because I'm the one teaching. It's possible that your tasks are not differentiated. It's possible that you're giving some children something that is so hard or too much, and the child is just right there confused. And the mother tries to come in. The mother says, Ewa, am I a teacher? These people don't deserve school fees. So when we are talking about school fees, you need to figure out what is the quality of the product. You don't just tell me to automatically pay. What is the quality of the product that you are saying online? I'm not going to get into the issue of school fees, but I'm just saying that they must pay, don't get me wrong, but we must also, what is the quality of the product? What is the ease of the product? How good, how easy to walk through is the product? So we must think about that. Then think engagement to 1,000. So if you have to dance, in your video, some people just say, hey, good morning, children. How are you today? I hope you are there. Well done. And child is just doing, sleeping. That is. So engagement to 1,000. Engagement in your videos, engagement in your activities, engagement. Think about it to 1,000, right? Raise the power of 1,000. And of course, very important, critical tasks and interdependencies. The critical task of a school is learning, right? That's the first thing. I know the first speaker said that there are so many other, tasks, but the main reason why a school exists is for learning, right? We might not be learning now, right? For many reasons, but the reason why a school exists is for learning. So are your children learning? If you are able to get them online, are they learning? And how do you make sure they are learning? So you can create checklists, right? Have they submitted this? You look at that. You have to, they also think, of course, within the level of differentiation, you must have thought that there are some children that you might need to look for one-on-one at the back, right? You have to look for them. So you send it, like, let me give you an example. My daughter is in primary 5. She's a high achiever for all intents and purposes. And then her teacher says that the quality of work she has been sending in has been poor. So the lady called us and spoke to her and said, I don't understand what's happening. Please try not to be like this. So there are so many things that you can do, right? So flexibility, non-flexibility, I've spoken about that. Now let's go to the fourth one, structure and systems. Structure and systems. So with online learning, there must be structure. You can't allow people to do anything they feel like because they are online. So there's no time. There's no time for you to do anything. There are no deliverables. There is nothing because we are online. Oh no! There's structure. With online, there's structure. And what I mean by structure is, where is school now? We've talked about where school is anywhere your school is. Wherever it is your school is, very important. Okay, so what does, who does what? When do they do them? Who makes sure that these things are done? Accountability. So how are you ensuring that the quality of your videos, who is ensuring that the quality of your videos is top notch? Very important, right? Interplay of academics. So within the system, the interplay of the academics department, your human resource department, your finance department, and so on, right? How would this run? Do people understand what is expected of them? Do you have meetings? So even within now, you should still have your meetings. You still have, so we meet every Thursday morning by 7:15. We do that. We must be running around a structure that still works, right? Who is in charge of ensuring that the production of the content, students' engagement, when do we post, appraisals and feedback, all those things that would typically happen in your school should continue to happen now. With online learning, think uniformity of approach within a flexible learning system. So we that are delivering the online, we must have uniformity of approach. But the system that we are delivering into must be flexible. That's the children and their parents. Be lean with your infrastructure. This is when, if anybody can multitask or do one or two more roles, they can. Because, of course, leaning into the issue of our finances. We are going to be here long term. This is May. I'll be honest with you. We'll be online May. We'll be online June. We'll probably be online in July. So for the next 3 months, if you don't have a structure that is going to take you to that place successfully, consistently, then there's a problem, right? So this is not the time for you to be loose with your finances. This is not the time for you to be wasting. Many of us are sending data to our teachers. A couple of us are sending fuel to them. A couple of us still need to pay them at least 50% of their salary. This is not a time for you to waste your money. So which is why your finance people also need to be part of your system. Last but not the least, of course, we've all been waiting for it, is capabilities, skills, capacities, attitudes of your staff, especially your teachers now. If you are going to thrive online, it's your teachers that will take you there under your leadership. So let me say it again, your teachers will take you there under your leadership or with your leadership, right? So you cannot, and I'm telling you, you cannot teach all the classrooms by yourself. So the same way you could not teach it in the school, the same way you cannot teach it now. You cannot teach all your classrooms by yourself. You need your teachers. If you did not believe in teachers before, this is time to believe in teachers. If you did not love them before, this is time to love them. If you were not listening to them before, this is time to listen to them. If you were not taking care of them before, this is time to take care of them. And that also then shows the importance of teachers and how, no matter how technology goes, teachers will still be very important, because there will be somebody behind, right, to push across all this learning. So a child does not understand. Who is he going to talk to? He's going to talk to the Khan Academy. Hey, Khan Academy, I don't understand though. Khan Academy, oh, can you answer me? I cannot understand this one, no. Is that what's going to happen? No. So what can we do? What can your teachers do? You train your teachers. You must train your teachers vigorously. And I told people that, it's almost as if for some reason we sort of foresaw this in the Kids Code School. From about 2018, 2019, we've been heavy on technology. Heavy on technology. We would do a whole week's training on technology. I went for the BETT, I think for 3 years. The Edmodo people, the Flipgrid people, these are people that I have on speed dial. We were heavy on technology. So now it's easy for us to sort of move online. Now, if you've not been doing that, what is your... So don't think that because because online learning has started now, you will now stop teaching your staff. No. This is the point where twice a week there must be staff training on your edtech tools that they are using. So if you are using Google Classroom, every week you will do another Google Classroom. You call it revision class. Revision class for Google Classroom. In case there is some parts you did not understand, you will understand them again now. You understand? You teach them again. Then of course there are some things that your teachers need now. They need to be motivated. They need to be, they need to be inspired, because they too are going through things. Some of them might have even lost somebody because of COVID. I have a staff that lost a mother-in-law or something, or somebody like last week, a fiance's mother last week. So your staff too are going through their lives. This is affecting them as well. It's not only you and your grade school. They are going through issues. So you need to talk to them. So if you have all these motivational speakers, you gather them on, ask them, come and speak to my staff, so that they will be motivated from inside, right? All these, motivational speakers, there are many of them. You can get your people a performance coach. You can get them a performance coach, somebody that they can run to. Hey, I'm frustrated, I'm tired, this life is becoming hard. If you don't want to be that person, you can find someone that you can run to, so that we're in this for a long haul. At least this pure remote teaching. And with your staff as well, like I said, appraise them. This is not the time for you to be afraid to give feedback to your staff. Auntie, that your H factor. Oh. Hey, please let me bring down that video. And then you tell them what to do. You tell them what to do with regards to that, right? So, continuous training to increase the capacity of your teachers to continue to deliver for the long haul, right? Attitudes, when you're talking about your motivational speaker, attitudes come in and stuff like that. Finally, so leadership, culture, critical tasks and interdependencies, structure and systems, capabilities, skills, capacity, attitudes of your staff are the things that you must consider when you want to thrive anywhere. So online or offline, as an organization, as a school, these are the things you must consider when you want to thrive. Now, going forward, right, when this is over, many things I want us to think about. Number one is that technology is here to stay. So don't let us be caught unawares again. Many of us were caught sleeping. When it's like the rapture happened and you were sleeping. Many of us were caught sleeping. Do not be, you have to be on top of the trends in education. So you see a trend, and of course you figure out the trend. So when I talk about this, technology in education is not a trend, it's not a fad, it's a real thing. So you must be abreast of what is happening in the education sector. Do not think that the things we did in 1982 is going to work for us in 2020 and 21 going forward. Technology has come to stay. At worst, let me be honest with you, at worst, we are going to end in blended learning. At most, some parents will say, you know what? I would rather have my child at home. If home is cheaper, listen to me, if home is cheaper, because many of us are now able to sort of run it at 50%. If home is cheaper, why can't I just get a nanny, that I trust, and my child can learn from home? You need to be careful. We need to look at it, especially for parents who think that, you know what, I'd rather my child go to a school in Abuja, but my school is in Lagos. So you know what, I can pay for that Abuja school. My child is in Lagos, and this is changing people's minds and approaches to many things, and we must be alert. We don't want someone to move our cheese and we will not find our cheese again. You say, hey, you not spend the next couple of years looking for your cheese. Meanwhile, your cheese has been blotted, obliterated, because you were caught, you were napping. And then this woke you up and you refuse to wake up, right? Preparedness is the name of the game. Preparedness is the name of the game. Preparedness is the name of the game.